Oh, good afternoon, YouTube. This is your man all the way, George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Bodybuilding Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. And today is another Muscle Talk Monday. This is episode number 27. And the subject we are talking about today is the debate of what is too big in a sport of bodybuilding, especially among the women. And that's always been a debate for a long time. And that was one reason why uh, that the IFBB decided to drop female bodybuilding from the I from the lineup and from the Olympia. And that's the question I like to ask a lot of you guys out there who follow female bodybuilding. What is too big? And there's quite a few women, Yes, suss up to my man Jared. Jared, to get your link, I sent a link to Jared because I'd like him to come in and get his thoughts on it, and we will drop some names on it. Yeah, what's up, Jared? You know, yep. And we're just gonna chop it up and make. We really talk about the question is what is too big in the sport of bodybuilding, especially women's bodybuilding. Now, men, the guys can get as big as they want to. You can be as big as the Hulk for men's bodybuilding, but you should have Jared. I just sent it to you. Just check your email. You should have it. And if I didn't, I just send you another link. If not, you should have it by now. But it's debate. And there been so many women in the sport that were just huge, if I can think about it, that were just had an amazing amount of muscle. But the debate is like it's so, and it's women now that have been made. If you see in the if you see in the click in the video cover for the description, you see Natalya Kostanova, or some people might know her as okay, I see another one. Some people might know her as Natalya Amazonica. She's from Russia, and she's considered one of the biggest women in the sport of bodybuilding, and she's huge. And there was been a debate her about the reason why she is so huge. Well, there's something that some people believe that she might have taken certain types of performance enhancers to gain the size. That's a possibility. She is from Russia, and that's the debate. And there's some women back in the day, such as Renee Tony. Now, Renee Tony, she was huge. She was huge, and even now, I follow her on social media. She comes on certain video chat sites, and Renee's still big. And then some like I mentioned, like Nancy, no, Lisa Lewis. Now, Lisa Lewis, she was huge. Now, here we go, my man Jared.
Hello, George.
Hey, Jared.
How you doing?
Welcome. All righty. As you know, we were just the debate. The story. Today's topic is about what is too big in the sport of bodybuilding, especially women's bodybuilding. Now, and I've been dropping some names that are women who in the past who have competed, women who are competing now, who are seem to be like some say are too big. And as I mentioned, Natalia Kostasnova, or as we all know as Natalia Amazonica, as you see, she's on the cover on the for the description of the video, this video, and she's pretty big. And she was supposed to be. There's supposed to be talk that she's supposed to be competing, because she last competed back in 2019. She took second at the Romanian Muscle Fest, but then there was supposed to be talk that she's supposed to be competing at last year's Olympia, and then the whole pandemic thing hit, and just she's up in the air. No one knowing. There's no information if she's going to be competing this year or not.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know the situation will be with the pandemic-wise, but I'd love to see her compete. Yeah, I am probably one of the more, as you could say, hardliners when it comes to these kind of issues. Like, what do people mean by too big exactly? Like,
Well, we know well one thing was back, a few years ago when there was a big push where the IFBB was like I talked about this with Nancy Lewis, Sue Price, and some other ladies before that. A few years ago, when I think this happened right around the time when Kim Zversky beat Linda Murray for the title, and Kim looked a lot bigger. I think right about 99, she was a lot bigger than she was back in 96 and 98, and she came in a lot bigger. And in 99, and the IFBB was putting in a new policy where they wanted women to come in. It was called a 20% less policy, where they wanted women to come in a little smaller. And in that year 2000, that was when they had two Miss Olympias, where they had Andrew Bouchette and Valentina Chipik. And the debate was always been that the women were getting too big, you know, and that's been still debate now, even though that bodybuilding is coming back now. It has a resurgence thanks to the women's strength. But the question is, are the women still getting too big? And I don't. It's like any sport; it's evolving. You know, so like also if you look at look at some of the physique competitors, which is the idea of physique was supposed to be. If I remember originally, fitness was supposed to be the alternative of female bodybuilding for women who didn't want to get to that bigger level. And then they created physique to be that alternative. But you see women now, like good example of this, like Ivy. If you follow Ivy Rain, who competed at last year's Miss Olympia physique, and she placed fifth. And this chick is huge as a physique competitor. I've seen her. She was doing an interview with AJ over a female bodybuilding channel, and during the interview, she was on screen. Her shoulders took up the screen. There's women like Anne Moon, who's from France, and she's huge. Also, Valentina Mishina. I mean, also I follow Katie Lee, who's also a physique competitor, and she is big. That's the debate and I did my interview with a couple other former physique competitors who were told that their size is getting bigger. They're told to go up to bodybuilding.
yeah, and you also have that one girl from Switzerland. I can't think of the name right now. But
Julie,
yeah, there's a lot of great.
Julie, I think you put her name in the Lions Den female bodybuilding community Facebook page. Julie Foy, I think her name is.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I like I said. I've been, as you know, I've been with several female bodybuilders that I've met in person, and I've met like with literal like IFBB pro, like some of the largest female bodybuilders on the planet. Like some of these girls that weigh like 180 pounds I've been in rooms with, and I don't really understand like what exactly, like it's basically from people outside of the sport talking about bodybuilding. It's like they know what it should be like. I mean, again, like I said, like the men. Why is it that the men are not? Well, there actually has been some talk about that. But the men, why are the men not talked about being too huge? For the most part, I know that there has been some talk about that, a little bit, but for the most part, um, it's not anywhere near as the amount of, uh, of talk about women as men. Along the same can be applied for like the steroid use. Like, um, why is this not talked about with the men at all? Like, why is it that or sports in general? Honestly, like I mean, you could even talk about like um, women's bikini, women's physique, women's fitness. Uh, I think there's a lot of double standards here.
Yeah, that's true for that because like why did he? When I look back there, I remember the interview I did with Nancy Lewis. He said that it's men because that's it is. It's double standard because it's men. Men are given more of a wide berth compared to women. Women are not are so women are supposed to be more soft, feminine, docile. They have a certain look, and especially especially here in America, or just not just America, just in certain other countries, like where the idea of women is supposed to, the idea of what how a woman should look is more feminine, a little more soft, and the idea of women with muscle is kind of just strange, very offensive to some people. But when like there's also with larger women, we say that the issue about is about people how we are too big is outside of it, but it's most of it is also inside the individual. Like that's why the IPB created the I said before the old 20% policy. Oh, give me a second. This is my man Marcus Bell. He always comes through all the way. George Page coming through, smashing that like. I appreciate Marcus Bell. Also, anybody else who's here, smash that like. Share this video. If you want to. I have my PayPal here in the description, my GoFundMe, and also my Cash App. Hey, a brother can use a little money. I did get my stimulus check, but by the time I pay some bills and stuff like that, hey, it's about gone. But anyway, but like I said, mostly there is people on the outside, but it's also there's enemies within that talk about how women are too large, and that's why where like I said years ago when I mentioned how when things after when Linda Murray lost to Ken Zavetsky in those last couple of years before um, after Linda was gone and Kim Zavetsky was Miss Olympia, they would try and change the policies where try and bring in a new policy where women was come in smaller. And then that was done within the IVB. As you know, the IVB is the same group that dropped female bodybuilding from the lineup, and it was Wings of Strength that saved it. And as I mentioned, women there's women that were a lot of women that were coming. That were so big. There was like some women. This is like you remember there was Tina Lockwood. Tina Lockwood. She was like I think like five. I thought it was like 5'7", 5'6", and she was huge. And the thing about Tina was that
Yeah.
I remember she was like doing an interview, and she just when she talked, she still had that feminine voice to her. Even though she was a big girl, she had a very feminine voice to her. I remember she had a great physique, a huge body. Um, I mentioned again before Renee Tony, she was very huge. There was another lady, Heather Darling, the late Nicole Bass, Anne Marie Crooks, um, uh, Lisa Lewis. Like right now, I would say Monique Jones, Irene
Alicia,
Anderson, who
Alicia Young, Alicia
Alicia.
Young.
Alicia's pretty big, especially for her height. He's just short. She's big for a short girl. That's what I'm saying about her. You know, and Hella Trevino, Marjorie Martin, and you also got to throw in most definitely Andrea Shaw, and there's quite a few women who are just amazingly huge. You know, who else do you think is like who's kind of other than like I said we talk about Amazonica, Natalya, Natalia Amazonica. Who else that some I might missed?
Colette Guillemard,
Oh yeah, Claire Goumont. Yeah, it's gonna be about her.
yeah, French Canadian.
Yes, she
She's
was
very big.
just she was buff. She was huge. I like I did a video about her and Paula Suzuki was a comparison video I did last week, and that's one of next to the video I did about Eddie Rivicchio and Kristen Bach, one of my most highest rated videos because guys love the buff beefcake females. Those ones are the most popular. I mean, there's guys that love them. There's women that like they just love they love the buffy beef women, and those are mostly popular among the guys like who are really hardcore fans of female bodybuilders. You know, and some guys like the leaner women, the more athletic looking female bodybuilders, and some like the women who just look like they come off of a comic book.
Yeah, yeah, and I think a lot of this just has to do with just like certain people in the IFBB trying to impose their standards on everybody else. Like what gives you that right to do that? Like every time the IFBB, it was 1992, 2000, 2005, and I think 2008, but I could be wrong. They implemented these quote unquote changes to female bodybuilding. And every time they did that, there was a huge backlash and it was a disaster. And in the end, it didn't even work anyway because, we just went right back to it because at the end it was just, it was unnecessary and a great example, 2005. Irish Kyle comes in with less muscularity at the 2005 Miss Olympia, and Yaxini Oraquin comes in, regular status that she always comes in. Irish comes in second. So at the end, it's like, it doesn't make any sense, and like you said, yeah, the hardcore fans, like the really hardcore fans of the sport, love the largest, most muscular mass muscle female possible, because it's bodybuilding. I mean, at the end of the day, like it doesn't really make that much sense. Like, do you want it to be bodybuilding or not? I mean, which is what I always get back to. Like, I don't really get like this whole what is too big comment. Like, yeah, I mean, if like who are you to tell somebody they're too big? And again, I mean, unless we're like bringing back weight classes, there's no weight, divide between the girls. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because they
that's the
used
thing
to.
is that I think the weight class. Yeah,
Yeah, because there used to be weight class divisions,
because
and somebody like Diana Cadeau could win because she was the largest of her weight class. But when they went up against the heavyweights, we know how that went.
yeah, I remember Andrea Bouchette when she won the weight class for the 2000 Olympia, and people really, I think the fans like Andrew because Andrula Bachet. I'm sorry, Andrula Bachet, when she won 2000 lightweight division, Andrula was very more muscular compared to Valentina. Valentina had that leaner look that what the IFBB liked, and Andrula had that more buff, muscular look what the fans liked. Instead of
Yeah,
the
I think she won
yeah,
heavyweight.
yeah,
Andrula,
well,
heavyweight. You said
she was lightweight in 2000.
really?
She was a lightweight. But Valentina was the heavyweight. You can check that out. I know that because she looked like a lightweight, but
Wow.
she was actually a heavyweight because she beat Vicky Gates for the heavyweight division. And a lot of people say like Vicky Gates should have won that. Vicky was like
Yeah.
Vicky was huge. I remember seeing a video of Vicky Yates when they did the weigh-ins behind the weigh-in scenes for 2002, and she's still beside I think Denise Horseshoe, and and she made Denise look small. I think Denise was competing in the heavyweight division. I mean, if I don't know, Denise could look at her. I don't know. She's got kind of head kind of like looking forward. I don't know. She had her head down by looks of her, but she took and she beat Vicky Gates for the heavyweight division because Valentina had that look to her. She had a more leaner, classic look that the judges like, and Drula had more the buff, muscular look that the crowd liked, that the fans liked. So that's why instead of just saying, you know what, let's go with the fans want and give the title to Andrula, but you know what, let's get what we want and give the title to Valentina. And that's what they did. They split the title, which was always to me was always a bullshit move. Body eye,
Yeah.
that was always to me. There's like it was a bullshit move. He should have went ahead and gave the title to Andrula for it out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The whole thing is complete nonsense, honestly. But yeah. The fans, they know what they want, but it seems like at the very top echelons, there's a lot of what they want and ignoring of the fans. Like, this isn't anything new at all. Like, this happens also in men's bodybuilding too. There's a lot of cliques and politics going on around the scenes. But who will be the rising star, basically? And I think at the end of the day, it's the fans who prop up the sport, and the fans should be the ones who decide. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
I understand.
I mean, the judges are professionals, so that's one thing. But they should not let bias or anything that doesn't involve, the sport of bodybuilding, who they're performing judging, and how to do that, I don't know. You just have to get somebody up there who's completely and 100% unbiased, but that's its own thing right there. Yeah. But like you said, like the sport's too big. I mean, if anything, I think we're not big enough. I mean, some of like the current female bodybuilding, I feel like has actually kind of been slightly less huge than maybe like the 2000s, early 2010s. Maybe I'm going crazy or something, but I think I've noticed that a little bit. maybe it's because Irish Kyle's going or something, but and a lot of the older women too. But I did notice a bit of a decrease in the size of some of the girls lately, and um, yeah, I just hope they don't have any kind of like political considerations like that going forward. Like, how did you feel about Andrea Shaw beating Hella Trevino and Margie Martin at the Rising Phoenix and Miss Olympia? Because some people said that they thought, well, Hella should have won, or Margie should have won that, or something like that. What do you think?
Well, this was a great debate, like I said, and I follow quite a lot of these ladies on certain sites, and where they say that they were going for another look, and with you know with Hella, like I said, she did an interview with my AJ over there at Female Bodybuilding channel, and I feel like she can come in like she wanted to, and she didn't, or she didn't do the same training that she did back in 2019. Like she changed something, and that's how pretty much she felt like that. Andrea was able to beat her at the Rising Phoenix, and with the Olympia, I think because they're looking for a look, and she had that look. Now I was kind of surprised she was going to win because I felt like probably felt like if anything, if I felt like most definitely I thought maybe Marjorie was going to take the title, but then if I look back at it, I think she really deserves it because she has a look to her. She looks more fluid. She has a more smaller waist, especially when I did my interview with Sharon Boswell. She really put she really you know really really got me thinking, and when she really pointed some things out and made some sense to it, that the physique that Andrea presented was physique that was really the standard that everybody looks at it. If you look at if you look over at the physique division, how Sarah Biggess beat Shanique Grant. You know, Shanique Grant had this physique that would probably think would be the standard. She smaller waist, wider shoulders, a little bit more. She looked a little bit more like kind of the more pleasing. More the standard. But Sarah Biggess came in. She had more. I think she's a little more tighter, a little bit more. She was kind of like Andrea, but smaller, and that's what the judges looked at. I think it was comparison. That's what they were pushing for. They're going back more to a classic look. That's what they wanted. That's what they got.
Okay. Well, I guess. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Classic look. Which is pretty much the look, but uh, yeah, I think Andrea probably deserved to win. I don't really know who I'd vote for if I was the judge, but I think after winning, the Rising Phoenix, yeah, I think she deserved to win the Miss Olympia too. Uh, and um, so basically, I'm curious to see going forward how many women's physique are going to go into female bodybuilding. Um, uh, because again, like the physique competitors, some of them seem to be getting a lot bigger, and and Andrea herself was actually physique prior to like 2019. I mean 2019. Yeah. So I don't know if physique is kind of like a gateway to bodybuilding or something like that. Yeah, I think that's the only debate where the too big should come into play is women's physique, honestly. Because that's the only place where it really would actually make sense or matters. You know what I'm saying? Because there's something above physique, basically. And I think, yeah, again, I don't know if this would be fixed if they brought back weight classes or not. We did an entire show about that alone. Weight classes. Because I don't think they even have that. They don't even have that for men's bodybuilding anymore either.
Well, I was going to say, well, technically they do have that. They do have men's 212. That's kind of like a weight class in itself. Plus, you have men's physique and men's classic physique. And you have the bigger guys, like you have Big Ramy, who just won the Mr. Olympia last year, and that's the debate that Big Ramy wasn't. They feel like he really deserved. He come in as he came in. He was a big dude, but some people say he come in good condition like he should have. They just won because he had the size. And I think really there's no real purpose for a weight class for the women anymore. That's why they have physique, because physique is really with the women's lightweight division, the bodybuilding, and then you got to think about look at figure. If you go like this, you see like this. Women's bodybuilding is common like you might well count as like heavyweight. Physique, I would say, is almost like maybe middleweight, and you have figure, which is, even though it's kind of like an offshot of fitness, it's kind of like women's lightweight, and that's what that is. You break it down like that. Women's bodybuilding is like heavyweight. Women's physique is like middleweight, and women's figure is kind of like lightweight. And and you get the other the other three divisions. They're just like different divisions, but that's how you can break it down. So you don't really need a weight class anymore. We have these divisions that kind of represent it, because there's been women who do figure that went up to physique that went up to bodybuilding.
Yeah, definitely. I just, I just wish they would stop, then complaining constantly about, well, some of these women are too big, some of these women are too big. It's like, unless you're gonna create another division for the women you think are too big, and it's like, we're gonna constantly keep having these cycles if you keep doing that. And there's too many divisions already, as far as I'm concerned. It's kind of crazy, actually. They can't even do individual poses for the most part anymore because of how many divisions they have nowadays. It's kind of getting crazy a little bit because of how much, how many competitors they need to get on stage now, and it seems to be just too much of a. It's just getting kind of ridiculous. But anyway, let's go back to the original topic at hand, which was Natalya.
Natalya Kosanova. Yeah. Or you see, for those who don't speak Russian that well, we'll go ahead and stick with Natalya Amazonica because that's her stage, not her stage name. That's the name she used when she performs. And yes, she is considered one of the biggest women in bodybuilding right now. She's not competing this year. She for a long time she competed mostly as an amateur, and then back in 2018 she gained her pro card at the Romanian Muscle Fest, which is a show that's a big show. That's one of the more of that's more of the big women's shows because that's the show that Monique came back on and she won it. Um, it's also a show that Virginia Sanchez won. And I think I remember I was talking one time with Tisha Thomas. She mentioned that she's not one of the biggest girls in the division, in her opinion, but it's mostly known as a show for the more the bigger women. And some of the other shows have been won by girls not as big. Last year, like the last shows have been won by former physique competitors. Uh, uh, um, Andrea won both the Rising Phoenix and the Omaha. You had Mala Ash who won uh, the Savannah Pro. You had Margarita Zemelova who won at the show in Spain, and you had uh, Ashley Hadley who won Mala Ash was New York Pro, and Ashley Hadley won Savannah Pro, and only true bodybuilders that won any show was um, Ladon McDay, who's like, even though she's a bodybuilder, I don't think she ever competed as in any other division of the bodybuilding that I can think of. It's kind of small on the body, small for the bodybuilding size, and you had Virginia Sanchez. But yeah, but she is considered one of the biggest women in the sport of bodybuilding.
Now, you said she's not competing this year. You got a source for that she's not competing this year, or did she say
Well,
that? Or
there's no. I know I have a source. I haven't heard anything lately. I'm reaching out. I'm trying to find information, but I'm not certain because usually, unless she's going to do either the show in Portugal or the show in Spain, like South, or the show in if she does the Muscle Fest, that means she probably won't be doing she won't be doing shows till next year because the Muscle Fest you don't get no points. That sets your points for next year because
they changed it up? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true. It's always been like that.
yeah, because it's like the last. It's kind of like it starts. Like if you win the Muscle Fest, it really just starts. It just starts your points for next year. So any competitor that's Amunia Goriso, who won the Muscle Fest last year, she took I think second. No, she won the Muscle Fest 2019. She took second last year. She has to really start getting points for this year, and since she can't travel, other than she can only do probably the Spain show or maybe the show in Portugal to get enough points, maybe try to come here for the Olympia. Because she said she couldn't travel, she couldn't be able to travel for because she had enough points because she won the Muscle Fest last year, Munya, and she could have competed at the last year's Olympia. Yeah, we got 3 people in here. Hit that like button, share, subscribe. If you got questions, I like this. Who do you think is the biggest women in bodybuilding? Just drop your name in the description, share, like, whatever. Just give your opinion. Also, hit us up on our Lions Den Female Bodybuilding Community Facebook page. Join up. You can drop videos, drop pictures, like whatever else. It's a channel with support of women in bodybuilding. No, we don't want no trolls. We don't want no negative comments. I'm the administrator. Jared over there, he's a moderator. We don't want nobody dissing the female ladies over there, because the fact is we want a safe space for fans of female bodybuilding, and also we want the ladies to come over, and we want y'all to have places you want to drop information, what's going on, any news like that, because we want to support y'all ladies out there because y'all need it. Y'all most definitely need it.
Yeah,
So,
and I really do. Have you ever thought about maybe trying to get out? Maybe try to get an interview with her at all?
the thing is she speaks English. That's the hard part about it.
She does. I have seen interviews where she does speak English. It is. I think I've actually talked with her a little bit. I have went a little bit back and forth with her. She does know some English, and I have seen an interview with her where she does speak a little bit of English. Uh, how much English she knows is another question entirely.
That's the thing, because AJ over at Fear Body, they just did an interview with another Natalya, with another bodybuilder by the name of Anastasia Kosanova, and she's she's a young upcoming bodybuilder, and she's huge too. This girl's 26 years old. She's big. She made her debut at the Muscle Fest back in 2019. She got a pro card there in 2019. She competed at the 2020 Muscle Fest, and she did place fifth. She also competed at the what was that other show? The at the Europa in Spain, and she's she's pretty impressive. She speaks a bit English, and that's the thing is for a lot of these he mentions that a lot of these competitors, you know, you really need speaking English is a great point that helps you out because especially if you could do interviews and if you know how to speak English well enough, good enough where you can have a good conversation. Like a while back, I reached out to a bodybuilder that I've been a fan of a long time ago. That's Rita Bello McWalters, and she's been in the game for a long time. And I was talking back to her IG, and she's from Argentina, like another bodybuilder I'm a fan of. That's Alicia Ferrio Massa, and her thing is like she feel like her English is not that good, and she don't feel like she's comfortable about doing an interview. And I'm hoping that maybe if she feel comfortable, like, because everybody knows her, I want to reach out to her, and I would love to do an interview because I always thought she had a great physique. I was a big fan of hers. I still am. She's been competing for quite a long time. And the thing with a lot of these bodybuilders who are from other countries, from Europe, from South America, Central America, if they don't know English as well, they it's hard to get unless you have a translator, and if I could maybe like one thing is if I get a better computer, the should I should have got myself when I got my money, she got a better computer instead of paying some bills. I would love to do like this. I would love to do this. I would love to have her get Alicia Ferrio translate, maybe get her to do she can talk in her language and Alicia can translate. That'd be a great interview. I can speak to Alicia, she can translate for her, and that work out for her. But that's the thing is, if you get some of these ladies who can, who you speak English, good enough where they can like you have a good back and forth, that'd be great. But sometimes we have somebody whose English is not as that well, it's kind of broken, and just that's just hard, because like my man, Coach Sherry Harrison, there's some we talk a lot about MMA fighters, especially from Brazil. And that's the hard part about it. He loves certain fighters from Brazil, and many of them don't speak English, and that's the hard part about trying to get them to do interviews.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, I do know she does like a lot of media attention. Huge Instagram following, does a lot of interviews and a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah, like I get for her would be a good thing. something for you and her. But you ever notice like there's a bit of like a almost like a stereotype a little bit that like these Eastern European women are like so huge and buff and muscular. Have you ever noticed that little stereotype?
Hmm. Yeah, there's quite a, like, especially I think from like Eastern Central European, Russians, Germans.
Yeah,
Uh, you got Austrian. There was an Austrian bodybuilder. They called her the female Austrian oak by the name of Ursula Tepley. I think I forgot the name, but they called her the Austrian, the female Austrian oak, and she was pretty big. There was a woman from Germany by the name of Jenna. What's her name? Jenna. I know her name, Jenna. Ooh, I mentioned her before. I remember I talked. I think it's like Jenna Mika. I forgot I said her name right. Jenna. I remember. I used to remember. She was huge. She was pretty big, and I've seen. She's still on social media, and she's still big. She's still huge. And I remember, I think there's talks that she might want to come back and compete. I don't know. I think she's in her 50s now. It was quite, I think, in the good part of the late 90s, early 2000s, there was a big influx of women from Europe. But then that's why I think that's what happened was that's what the NBC, they dropped a lot of competition from from Europe. And for a good while, you weren't seeing a lot of European women from there. I think that the last set of women from Europe to come after 2013 was Lisa Cross and Virginia Sanchez. And it was a lot harder, people like I think like for a good while you weren't seeing a lot of women from Europe. And European women like people like Jay Fuchs and Helen Trevino, Irene Anderson, those kind of kept the sport going. You got a good amount of American women, also Canadian women like Laura Beniti and shoot, I'm going to think of. I'm trying to think of just some great muscle women from Canada. Because I
Guy
also have a website,
Candle.
Guy Cadeau, yes. I have a website also on Facebook. I have a page on Facebook called the Women of Canada. I'm a big fan of women from Canada, and it seems like it's just women from Eastern Europe, from Europe, from the Slavic countries, from the countries from around about Iceland and how you would say it, those just brought more muscle compared to the American women.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty amazing, honestly. I'm just in awe of it. Yeah, but that influx of all those Eastern European female bodybuilders, I think that probably would correlate a little bit with like the end of the Cold War, the end of the Eastern Bloc and all that, and then the opening up a little bit of travel. I think that would have something to do with it. And yeah, I think a lot of these Eastern European females really do help the sport a bit, and Canadian as well.
Hmm. And
Um,
also, yeah, and also there was a bodybuilder by the name of Brigitta. How's her name? She was blonde, very big. She came out about the same time as Alina. Brigitta, I used to follow her on Facebook. She had her, we used to talk back and forth every now and then. She was blonde. She was huge. Brigitta, Brie, oh, I,
I know who
yeah,
you're talking about.
yeah, and she was big. Yeah, she was
Yeah,
huge. Yeah.
retired too soon.
Well, like that's how it is sometimes. Some of the great ones, they just I wouldn't say retire. too soon. She was married. She wanted to have she had a baby. She wanted to settle down. And that's it happens. That happens. You want to settle down. You want to have a life. You can't fault that. You can't. Some of these ladies, originally she Grant says she wanted to, have a family, and you can't fault that for that. They want to make that person themselves, but that's how it happens. It's just you have to make a choice that you want to either stay in the sport, sacrifice that part of having a personal life, or or just it.
Yeah. Well, it's always such a shame for us, though, unfortunately. Yeah. Um, so I don't really know if there's really much more we can discuss about this issue, other than I think the consensus is, you know, for the fans of female bodybuilding, I think we're all unanimous for the most part that too big is kind of a myth, honestly. Um, we don't really know. I don't think there's ever been a woman that's quote unquote too big. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Well, there's always
I
going to be.
mean,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
there's always going to be like a few that are nitpicky and want something their way, and if it's not their way, they want to force the standard on everybody else. Again, it's they're trying to solve something by making a whole bunch of problems, and I don't think it's helping at all be constructive. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on that issue. And we will see how the girls come in 2021. I hope they come in very big.
Well, like I said, we have a few months because, like I said, March is not over. We won't see no real shows till about June. And there are some shows starting, but they're mostly amateur shows. No pro shows until June for the women. I wish back in the day it used to be first you for bodybuilding professional women was usually around about March. That was the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic. He had was the Miss International, but I think I talked about it with Sean Boswell. They should have some shows around about March or April. You know, for because that be because some women are still in prep. Some women are some women ready to go because
Yeah.
they just tired of just waiting, eating, and training and bulking up. And I'm following a lot of women on social media. Some women are getting really bulky. They get really large. They're really ready to go. They really want to hit the stage. They want to show they want to show off what they got. But we have to wait and be patient. That's how it is for those fans.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that.
Yeah. So
All
anyway,
right, George. Yeah, I think it's time to wrap it up. But yeah.
alrighty. So anyway, this is just a debate that we had. Question anybody, like I said, if you feel who's your favorite, you put them in the comment section. Who you think is the biggest one you can think of in your imagination in all bodybuilding. Anyway, I want to say to y'all, I appreciate y'all coming by. Me and Marcus Bell for coming by, dropping a like. All the other people dropping a like and listen to and this debate about how big is too big in female bodybuilding. I'd like to thank my man Jared, our historian of female bodybuilding. Thank you, Jared.
Peace.
All right. And I'd like to thank y'all. Want y'all to swing by the. I said again, we have our Facebook page, the Lions Dance Female Bodybuilding Community. Come by, like I said, come by, check it out, join. Drop videos, like videos, drop pictures. Everything has to be positive. We don't want no trolls. We don't want no dumbasses. You know, support these ladies. And also the ladies out there, join. Come on, you got some news. You want to subscribe? You want to join our site? You want to share some information? Bring us some news. Let's get this site to grow. You know. Anyway, like I said, this is your man all the way, George Gage, aka the Emperor of Female Bodybuilding Talk. Like, don't like, subscribe, don't subscribe. Reach out, and good afternoon and good evening.
Peace.